Savannah Kelly. Welcome to APTN National News. The inquest into the death of Myles Sanderson took place this week in Saskatoon. Sanderson killed 11 people and injured another 17 on the James Smith Cree Nation and in Weldon in Saskatchewan in September 2022. The RCMP arrested him 3 days later, but he died in their custody near Rothsern. The inquest examined how he died and made 4 recommendations to prevent similar deaths from happening again. After nearly a week of testimony, the jury heard from RCMP, Saskatoon Police, and a forensic pathologist. The inquest jury found that Sanderson died of accidental acute cocaine toxicity. The jury's recommendations included that the Saskatoon Police Service consider establishing a dedicated team for arrests on individuals with outstanding warrants and more training on advanced extraction techniques for arrest takedowns. A Canadian senator wants to put an end to forced and coerced sterilizations once and for all, and she hopes her private member's bill will do just that. APTN's Fraser Needham has that story.
Nicole Rabbit and her mother were both victims of forced sterilizations. She told the Senate committee on Thursday what her late mother would have said were she here today.
She would have said, someone has to be accountable for the act of genocide that we Indigenous people have faced and continue to face in regards to forced and coerced sterilization. We Indigenous people have always been poorly treated, and we would like it to stop.
Senator Yvonne Boyer says she hopes her private member's bill S-250 does just that by making doctors who continue to perform coerced sterilizations liable for conviction under the criminal code. Boyer initially did not want to further re-traumatize Indigenous women by bringing them into the justice system, but changed her mind after listening to survivors like Rabbit.
And they were testifying at the Senate Standing Committee on Human Rights, and I was able to hear their voices and realize that it comes from the heart, and it's the only way that there's going to be any reparation is through making people accountable for what they're doing. And we heard that today from the survivor, one of the survivors.
Forced and coerced sterilizations are currently considered assault under the criminal code, but Boyer says she believes the law needs to go one step further, and that anyone who uses intimidation, threat, force, or any other form of coercion to get a woman to undergo sterilization be guilty of an indictable offense.
Well, there hasn't been any convictions under the assault provisions, and so this will be more of a deterrent, and it specifically deals with sterilization. So sterilization is the focus of this bill, not general assault or aggravated assault or anything like that. It's just sterilization that will act as a deterrent.
The bill has passed 2 readings in the Senate, and Boyer says she's confident it will get government support in Parliament and could become law by June. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
In the Northwest Territories, 98% of kids in care are Indigenous. Navigating the child welfare system can be daunting, often 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Our reporter Charlotte Morit-Jacobs brings an update from a mother still fighting 2 years after her kids were originally apprehended. Here's that story.
This is the suit her son would have worn to church if Child and Family Services had agreed to a public outing for a Klitschko mother desperate to get her kids back. APTN cannot identify her due to privacy laws, but she wants to speak out. Her 3 children have been in care since January 2022, apprehended because parents struggled with addictions. But by the spring of 2023, they were on track to family reunification. In July, however, she says a caseworker launched an investigation after her youngest son fell in the home.
Like, it's heartbreaking, you know, like we were so happy we're gonna have our kids home, our routines can come back, we're gonna stay with our children.
She has never been interviewed or charged by police for these allegations and is back to square one with only office visitations. There's nearly a dozen support letters from family and friends for them to regain custody of their kids.
And they are putting a lot of efforts in creating a safe environment for their children.
APTN first spoke with her in 2022 when her son was being abused in care, and it took a doctor advocating on their behalf for Child and Family Services to finally remove the son from the abuser. Fast forward, her requests still fall on deaf ears. The mother was concerned for her eldest daughter's well-being, living at home base, a Yellowhead group home. She asked CFS to place her in the care of an auntie. Before that could happen, The daughter spent the night in the hospital for alcohol poisoning.
She didn't want to approve it, that they're going to need criminal records check. And I said, my sister's a teacher, and my brother-in-law's an our officer. They both obviously have no criminal records to be in this position.
Home base in Yellowknife serves anywhere from 50 to 60 kids a day in their youth dorms and emergency shelter. Up against funding and staffing challenges, the space provides programming and supervision from 8 p.m. until noon. The executive director of Home Base, Tammy Roberts, has been doing this work for decades, with 28 years of experience as a foster parent, caring for over 250 kids.
Youth that utilize Home Base have been through a lot of the foster homes already, so they've exhausted that. But then also I don't feel that a home is right for everyone. Some of our youth are really strongly connected to family. Whether or not they can live with family or family can care for them is a different story. But to them, that would alienate family, and so a group setting works better for them.
Roberts says NWT foster parents desperately need more trauma-informed training before taking in youth who they have no bond with and who have been shuffled around within the system. This note, written by a doctor about her eldest daughter, demands Child and Family Services take the mother's request seriously, as the daughter has expressed a desire to go to treatment. But months have passed. Even her advocates encourage her to play by Child and Family Services rules.
Play it nice and just, do what you have to do to get your kids back, but fighting with them is not going to get you anywhere.
And that's what she'll do, continue to fight.
In the waiting room, and I see people that are was in the same boat as me. The first time I sat in that waiting room, confused, then I would just I know what they're going through. And I said, this is what you need to do. Because they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you need to get a lawyer. You need, if you sign this plan of care, they're going to tell you they're going to apprehend your kids.
Indigenous people make up 57% of the NWT population, but represent over 98% of kids in care. The territorial government's latest CFS strategy plan sets out targets to meet this year, including increasing cultural training for child welfare workers, increasing financial compensation for foster parents, and sharing more information about Child Family Services cases with Indigenous governments. Charlotte Mort-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
A new class action lawsuit is being proposed which could have significant impacts on the children of residential school survivors. Saskatchewan lawyer Tony Merchant filed a statement of claim in federal court this week on behalf of Matthew Brandon of Wayway-Sakapo Ojibwe Nation in Manitoba. He says courts, Indigenous leaders, and media regularly refer to the legacy of residential schools on younger generations of Indigenous people. Merchant alleges residential schools made parenting and violence synonymous and has resulted in the ongoing impacts of intergenerational trauma. The claim still needs to be authorized by a court judge. Roger Bido, who was convicted of manslaughter in 2022 and sentenced to 10 years in prison, has been granted unescorted temporary absences by the Parole Board of Canada. According to the Parole Board, he has a low chance of reoffending. Roger Bido was convicted for the role he played in the incident where his son Anthony shot and killed Métis hunters Jacob Sansom and Maurice Cardinal in 2020. Anthony Bido is still serving a life sentence for second-degree murder in connection with that killing. Both are appealing their convictions. The Northwest Company this week asked for the city of Iqaluit-Nunavut to forgive over $50,000 in water bills due to pipe leakages. In the end, that idea was shot down. The Northwest Company is looking for debt forgiveness from the city of Iqaluit-Nunavut. The company has an estimated net worth of about $1.9 billion. The manager of the local Iqaluit North Mart, Alan Laurie, says water bills that normally cost $1,700 shot up to $56,000 due to leaking pipes on their property. However, in response to the proposal, Iqaluit City Council says, much like individual homeowners, the onus is on the building owners to maintain their property, and Northmart is no exception.
I take a little bit of offense at that. It's not the role of the city to notify you that the maintenance of your equipment is faulty. The fact that this leak occurred after the metering is the responsibility for this lies entirely in the recipient of that water's lap. There's no provision within the city of Iqaluit to allow for a forgiveness of that payment.
The Yellowhead Tribal College in Edmonton is hoping to help in the fight against wildfires with the use of drone technology. We'll tell you more about that after the break. Welcome back to APTN National News. The Yellowhead Tribal College in Edmonton is helping fight climate change caused by wildfires. They offer a one-year course on environmental monitoring and drone technician certificate using the latest in technology to stop wildfires before they grow out of control. APTN's Chris Stewart has more.
Last week, the Alberta government announced the earliest ever start to wildfire season in the province. And the Yellowhead Tribal College wants to help. The environmental monitoring and drone technician certificate offered is now in the middle of its first year. The course will help prepare students for a career in environmental sciences and use drones to detect hotspots early so firefighters can act fast to stop a fire in its tracks. The Indian Resource Council has partnered with the Government of Alberta and Yellowhead College to offer this program. The council represents 130 First Nations looking to be major role players in the oil and gas industry. They are looking to help mitigate the damage caused by climate change from oil and gas emissions. Winona Lafreniere is a director. She says Indigenous youth can find work and help protect the environment.
They're in a perfect position to sustain their communities through this training, because now we're adopting advanced technologies like the drone to do some of that work, phase 1 and 2 environmental assessments, surveying, aerial mapping, photography. So there's a lot of, the drone sector is $47 billion strong right now.
Jocelyn Verreau heads up the college's science and technology department. She says the school listens to elders to help prepare their classes. This course is free for Indigenous students. She says with climate change, early detection of fire hotspots is key.
If you could stop a fire, regenerate an area, create, because fire is a natural pattern of disaster. It's something that naturally happens. But with the changes in the climate, it's been accelerated.
Darcy Hunt is an instructor. He says the program isn't easy, but earning the certification has many benefits. The big one, graduates can help keep their traditional lands safe from fires.
We wanted to become involved in detecting these hotspots. And in order to do that, you need to get certifications such as grid testing certification, SFOCs, so that's special flight operators certificates, and a few more other requirements. So we're in line to join this fight against the wildfires.
The next course begins March 18th. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
A new peacekeeping program has been launched in 7 Migma communities. Its goal is to create and build safer communities, but to do so by turning away from conventional policing methods. Angel Moore reports.
I think an important issue for us too is making sure that our people and our children know that they could turn to us for anything.
That's TC Ward. He's patrolling his community of Metabanaghiog. He's doing it in his new position as a peacekeeper, a Migma-led alternative to enforcement-based policing.
And that, that could vary from not just like a police matter. It could be somebody lost, or somebody who needs somebody to talk to. And I'm glad to be that shoulder. That's who I am.
Ward is one of 14 people who graduated from a 7-week training program held at New Brunswick Community College in Miramichi. Migma Dabludahan, a Migma advocacy group, developed the Peacekeepers program. It's guided by Migma laws in de-escalation and conflict management. 2 peacekeepers serve each of the 7 Migma communities in the province.
Hopefully I get called before 911, and I can de-escalate the situation. And in terms of crime, in the sense of whenever the RCMP are needed, hopefully I'll be there before them.
Wanda Ward took part in the community engagement sessions when the program rolled out last December.
This program is awesome for the community, and like I said, we don't have to redevelop our customs and send somebody to sensitivity training about Mi'kmaq issues and cultural issues. We have them already because of those 2 individuals come from the Indigenous community.
Bill Ward is chief of the Metapanagioag Mi'kmaq Nation. He says people have lost trust in police, especially after the shooting deaths of Rodney Levi and Chantel Moore in June 2020.
It was a lot of learning, it was a lot of healing, it was a lot of pain, especially for the family, a lot of trust and distrust of the RCMP, and we're still working on trying to mend that relationship. It's definitely going to take some time, but I think this Peacebreaker program is going to really assist in doing that.
Moore was fatally shot by Edmundston police during a wellness check. Days later, Levi was shot and killed by RCMP after police were called to a disturbance at a home in Sunny Corner, 1 kilometer from Metapanagioag. Rodney's sister, Rhoda Levi, praises the peacekeeping program.
And I think this peacekeeper course is going to really change how we interact with the law, because that justice system now is not meant for us. Wasn't meant for us and was not made for us.
She hopes it will prevent further tragedy.
I really, really do believe this is going to really improve the safety of our people. That way it doesn't, what happened to my brother Rodney doesn't happen to anybody else.
In the meantime, TC Ward patrols his community that is still impacted by the shooting death of Rodney Levi.
I can tell you with my heart and behind it, everything behind it, that we're going to do our best to prevent something like that happening again.
There are plans in place to continue training new recruits who may be ready to patrol in the spring. However, the program still requires sustainable funding. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Metapanagioag, Mi'kmaq Nation.
We need to take one more short break. Still to come, we'll bring you 2 stories of First Nation beadwork artists making waves online. Stick around. Welcome back. A beaded creation by a Mohawk designer from Akwesasne is making waves on the runways. Tasha Thompson and her daughter Nalia are an up-and-coming designer team from Akwesasne. Here's Annette Francis with that story.
Tasha Thompson has been perfecting her art since she was a child.
I just wanted to so bad, and I think I even harassed my mom to teach me, and she showed me the basics, and then so that's how it started. And then I remember even trying to do a simple rosette, and I'd just get real mad and take it apart, but I kept going and going and going.
Her skill and dedication in her work shows. Just last week, Akwesasne actress Gawandeo Tarbell wore a fully beaded corset at the premiere of a live-action remake of Avatar, The Last Airbender. The response to the outfit on social media went viral. Thompson was surprised.
And I just thought that everybody could do what I'm doing, so I didn't think it was anything special. And then so now, with everything that's going on, with the event that just took place with the corsets, and I didn't think it would impact me or my community so much, so it's amazing.
Thompson completed the corset in a week and a half. She collaborated with Métis artist Evan Ducharme, who designed the skirt, and with Gawandeo.
We just kind of had we all formed a little friendship, and lack of sleep, and just kept going back and forth, and I never imagined it to all work out so beautifully.
It was no big surprise for Thompson's daughter, Nelia Barnes, who is her mother's sidekick.
I feel like she was more surprised and I was more like,
well, duh. I feel like I'm her confidence sometimes, but I was really excited when I heard she got the order, and I was keep on hyping her up and telling her she could do it.
Nelia beads as well. Whenever her mom needs help, she's there to support her.
Well, like in terms of beading, she'll like to do like the florals and stuff, and then this is like, we call it the fill, where it's just the same color the whole time. That's what I like to do. And so she likes to do the flowers and everything. And I just will do the tedious stuff, I guess. And then sewing, I don't sew very well, but I'm trying to like learn.
Their amazing work has been seen on red carpets elsewhere too, from local fashion shows in Akwesasne to runways in Long Island, New York, and Cannes, France.
I was really nervous about that too, because I was teetering about like more couture kind of style, and I didn't know if I had that in me. But I think France was a turning point to be like, let's keep going.
Thompson says she's going to take time to rest and focus on where she wants to go from here. Nelia is looking forward to participating in more designs and fashion shows, possibly in Asia. And at Francis, APTN National News, Akwesasne.
A First Nations beater from northern British Columbia says she recently received the thrill of a lifetime after the rapper Ice Cube wore a medallion she made on stage.
Thank you for whoever made this. I appreciate it.
Tall Tan artist Carmen Dennis from Dease Lake, British Columbia, designed the Ice Cube-inspired medallion. Along with family and friends, she attended the rapper's show in Abbotsford on February 20th. Ice Cube is best known for his work with NWA and for songs Straight Outta Compton and It Was a Good Day, as well as film roles like Boys in the Hood. Dennis says her daughter and niece, with help from other fans in the crowd, were able to throw the medallion on stage where it caught the rapper's attention.
Me and my friend, we stopped what we were doing because we were dancing and singing, and then we're like, oh my God, like he's picking it up. And we started jumping, like we weren't even aware of anybody around us. We were just so happy. And when he put it over his neck and he started singing Today Was a Good Day, that was just the best.
Some great beadwork there, Carmen. And that's all the time we have for your APTN National News this Saturday. For news anytime or to catch up on our latest stories, visit our website at aptnnews.ca. I'm Savannah Kelly. Marcy Miigwech, thank you for joining us. Take care and have a great night.